Alrighty then, welcome to the show. This is probably take 3 or something because I lost 2 recordings and I'd really worked on a couple of ideas earlier in the week, but nothing really stuck. This is 3 Rocks. I am your host with the most fingers, Khaya Maseko, and here on this show we read books, we read poems from myself, from other writers, we read a lot of science fiction, we talk about Nietzsche and humanity in general. We are near an airport as well, so if you can hear planes, do forgive us. We have aviation agwan in the area. Anyway, I was really concerned and bothered by the Uganda thing, the Ugandan homophobia situation. It is rife, it is bad, it is bad out there. They passed a bill recently that basically makes homosexual life impossible, and it's basically full-on anti-LGBTQ, anti-queer, anti-lesbian. Anyone who is seen practicing homosexual behavior or promoting homosexual behavior will be fined or jailed. There's like a hectic list. There's a hectic list. I'm opening it up right now and I'll show you. I will tell you actually, because this is audio after all. But while we wait, I will read you a poem which speaks to the subject of today. The poem is called I and Gomorrah. I as in yes. There was destruction. My God, oh my God. And burning. And death and the sounds of death and burning. Was Sodom destroyed? I and Gomorrah to 6 miles around it. The river beneath it boiled in the streets. The mountain vomited rock on the orchards. And no one now can live upon the place. Oh, my city, what city may I found? Where now must I go to make a home? And that's And Gomorrah by Samuel Delany. I don't know if it was Marilyn Hacker who wrote this one. She wrote a lot of his poems that opened up his books, but it speaks, it feels like Samuel Delany. Can't be sure, we will know though. I will do my research and find out. So yeah, that's what's going in Uganda right now, and I'm sure that the gays are feeling that way, like this poem alludes to and speaks to. My city, what city may I found? Well, where now must I go to make a home? You know, it's and I don't think South Africans will grant them asylum. Not in a country with Operation Dudula in effect. Not in a country where we don't accept foreigners or fellow Africans, but they call them foreigners, you know. But hey, I don't know how I feel about that. Man. I will read you a little bit from this book. It's something that speaks a lot to me. This book and Samuel Delany in general talk a lot to homosexuality and to transsexuality and transgenderism and the future of sex. Rather than trans or anything in particular, it speaks about the future of sex and how we will view sex in the future. And I work on the same thing in my writing, to work on beyond gender, between gender, beneath gender, rather than these polar Manichean divides that we have of gender and sex. Are you going to take up a collection for me? I asked. Or do you want them to line up outside the door and wait their turn? She sucked a breath. Actually, I was going to suggest both. Suddenly, she shook her head. Oh, what do you want? What will you give me? I want something, I said. That's why I came. I'm lonely. Maybe I want to find out how far it goes. I don't know yet. It goes as far as you will. Me? I study, I read, paint, talk with my friends. She came over to the bed, sat down on the floor. Go to the theater, look at spacers who pass me on the street, till one looks back. I am lonely too. She put her head on my knee. I want something, but... And after a minute, neither of us had moved. You are not the one who will give it to me. Yeah. I and Gomorrah, worth reading. So I got a private little group where we chat about issues and things that concern my writing, as well as this show in some aspects. So we speak. And something that someone said in the group was, I have argued with my Afrocentric brothers and sisters regarding this tendency to fight against the LGBTQ society with the pretext of protecting cultural family values. It's an unwinnable war. Stats and facts do not work. Moral indignation seems mightier than the truth itself. Now, the anti-homosexuality bill is what it's called in Uganda, and the Parliament of Uganda passed it. And I remember something quite particular, because it relates to what I just read to you from my friend. They say that they want to establish a comprehensive and enhanced legislation to protect the traditional family. You see, that pretext, that whole idea that they are defending something by fighting homosexuality. They are actually doing something good. There's a justness to their actions and to this bill, which is so not true. And we're trying to find out why actually Africa is like this, and so unprogressive. This is backwardness, and we know that America is slipping into fascism right now and everything, but we don't have to. I mean, do we really have to be like this? Anyway, so under this bill, gay sex is punishable by life imprisonment or death, and promotion, including advocacy or normalization of it, are also punishable by fines and imprisonment. I'll tell you how long. It was a pretty extensive list of how long you can be fined. How long you can be fined. I think it was like 10 years or something. There it is. Parliament of Uganda. Oh, motherfucker. Persons convicted of aggravated homosexuality, death. It's the penalty. Person who commits the offense of homosexuality, 20 years. Person convicted of promotion of homosexuality, also 20 years. Person recruiting children into homosexuality. Now, I don't know how that works. 20 years as well, by the way. But I don't know how this works, because I thought that they would have a bill protecting child trafficking. Protecting children from trafficking, or fighting child trafficking. You'd think that there's a separate bill for that. But this one speaks directly to homosexuality. It says person recruiting children into homosexuality. So I don't know how you can be recruited into a sexual preference. This isn't like church or something. You don't just convert to homosexuality. You know whether you like gay love or not. You know. It's It's not something that can be like forced on you. I don't care what drugs or alcohol you consume. Anyway, they say that if you recruit children into homosexuality, you'll get 20 years, however you do that. Anyway, the fifth point was that a person who has committed the attempted aggravated homosexuality gets 14 years. Aggravated homosexuality, that means like full on, 14 years if you attempted it. I kissed a girl and I like it. You fucked, son. Screwed. Person who has been convicted of attempted homosexuality, you'll get 10 years. Now, if you were committed of attempting aggravated homosexuality, you get 14 years. But if you're convicted, 10. The owner of the premises that promotes homosexuality, you'll get 10 years. So if I have gays in my home and I'm okay with gays and lesbians and queers, that lady who likes to wear boy pants and boy shirts and that guy who likes to wear tutus and makeup, I would get 10 years for just having them in my house, for harboring homosexuals, premises that promote homosexuality. Now, if a child is found guilty of homosexuality, that child will get 3 years and will probably get a thorough re-educating within those 3 years. But if you're a media house and you're like, God damn it, Uganda, what are you doing? You should not be making stupid laws like this against homosexuals and lesbians and gays and bisexuals and all those people. You really shouldn't be doing that shit. Now, if I'm protesting like that as a media house and I'm speaking against Ugandan government or promoting homosexuality in my media output, I will be fined 1 billion shillings of Uganda and the license would be revoked for 10 years. That's how it is here in Africa. If you even dare to do homosexual things in Uganda. And the same friend who spoke about this pretext of protecting the family said that he's looked deeply into the matter and had decided that it's a matter of different strokes for different folks. Speaking to many Ugandans in all different spaces, I have found none that supports homosexuality as an inalienable right for Ugandans and Africans in general. So I may have my personal opinions about the backwardness and colonial influences in this decision, but my opinion matters little when majority Africans stand vehemently opposed to the practice of homosexuality. I bracket. Kandivele, what is democracy? Democracy is, that was a good question. Kandivele, what is democracy? Democracy is the masses, and if the masses in Uganda don't like homosexuality, I guess that their government is speaking for them. But that's dangerous, isn't it? When does democracy become dangerous and bad? If the masses are all stupid, mostly, because it's the masses, right? If the masses are mostly stupid and mostly ill-informed, what is going to happen? If the masses are still holding bad values and bigoted values from back then, or badly Christian influenced values, or Muslim influenced values that speak against homosexuality, and that's their culture, as it were, how dare we speak against it? Do we have even a right to speak against this policy? Because it probably speaks to most Ugandans. Most Ugandans are okay with this. It's just this minority which is so important to protect. But it's this minority that needs defending the most from the majority, which is putting them in danger by passing bills like this. So I can't walk with my boyfriend holding hands. We would be fined or jailed or beaten up by the police. Now if kids, teenagers, or some 20-year-olds drinking at the pub see me and my boyfriend, I hypothesize, of course, a hypothetical situation. If they see me and my boyfriend walking, holding hands, and they beat us up, probably the police would do nothing to protect us because we're gay. You see, that's the dangerous thing about this law. This law is a can of worms, and it's saying it's okay to hate and be intolerant of homosexuality, and that that, my friend. I mean, where do gays go now? Where do they go? Because if you're a local Ugandan and you've lived there all your life and you can't afford to travel to Zambia or Tanzania or Gambia or anywhere else, if you can't escape, what will you do? Because I can't just stop being gay, can I? I mean, you can't just stop being lesbian. You can't just stop being queer. It's innate. It's innate. So where do they escape? Africans won't tolerate it. I raised this issue when the subject came out earlier this month. Last month, sorry. I raised it that how are South Africans going to defend Ugandans in this issue? Would we offer them asylum? Could we protect them? And a lot of them were like, no, actually we won't. And it seemed that the intolerance for Africans in general is so innate and so inbred that South Africans would not defend a human rights issue of this nature en masse. They wouldn't do it en masse. Julius Malema came and spoke about it later on, wearing a rainbow flag. I don't know about that guy, really. His words are untrustworthy. The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula Le Guin. Started reading that. It's pretty good. It's very fantastic. It feels like a fantasy book. So it's I was dissuaded a bit, a bit too detailed, and the finery was amazing. This world building that comes with a fantasy book. It's like that. But I like the world she's building so far. I read like 10 pages. I'll go with it. I've never finished an Ursula Le Guin book, so I will try this one, really. The Left Hand of Darkness, it's a classic and possibly her most famous book. So I have to give it a run in the name of posterity and me consuming science fiction like I do. She will have to get a run. Samuel Delany is so good, and he writes to me. He speaks to my voice. His writing and his style of writing as well is so poetic and so layered that it reminds me of Billy Woods. If you listen to Billy Woods, his poetry and his MCing, his raps, very layered and contextualized, but if you take it out of context, it's multi-contextual. It speaks to a lot more than just the subject itself. So I'm loving his words, and someone's trying to talk to me right now, but I cannot chat, for I am in the middle of this. I got poems I was transcribing today, so I will fling you a prose poem and some other poems that I have. How many did I transcribe? 5. Is 5 poems enough for you? We are about 19 minutes into this, so 5 poems, and then I will close. I will say goodbye, because I'm really bothered by this Ugandan issue, and I think it sets a bad precedent for what's going to be coming in the rest of Africa. And we're talking about this in the group as well, that this is setting a precedent for what's going to be happening. Another guy in the group said that they've been burning homosexuals to death as far back as 2010. If an American knows about this, then, well, it means it's been happening since long before that, I'm saying that Florida is following suit with this ban on drag as well. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Before I get to my poems, P-O-M-E, by the way, that's how you spell them. They're poems. I don't know if you heard about Florida banning drag. That's a real thing as well. I saw this bill being passed that was saying that you can't have an event, you can't actually license an event that has people dressed in drag. That's also bad precedent, and I'm saying this is worldwide, and if Africa is doing this, Africa in its state, really is going to not progress. And if America is doing such fascist things in Florida, of all places, and you can't get gayer than Florida, fuck's sake. But here it is. They're banning drag at Florida Pride. Anyway, so this guy was predicting, and this is just a prediction before the polls. He said that what's going to happen is that Donald Trump is going to win the US presidency. His numbers are already rising, and the US is going to become openly fascist. And you've got countries like Uganda, and which homosexuality is illegal. In America, abortion is legal, and they can very well make gay marriage illegal in states like Florida. So the response to the economic ascension of BRICS and other countries to become super fascist, that's the response, is to become super fascist. And we're going to have a situation like 1945, in which we would end up having not a world war, but internal wars in different countries, which is going to continue to promote chaos instead of focus on economic liberation. In Nigeria, there's going to be a lot of anti-gay violence too. Nigeria, you can't drive your car patrol area because there are now Fulani bandits who kidnap you and kill you. If you don't have a lot of money to pay them. Okay. I was just trying to make sense of the statement. Yeah, you can't drive your car rurally. That's what he said. It was a typo. I see. So yeah, we're really dealing with a lot of issues that overlap, but the real thing here is we are not focused on economic liberation and the work that needs to happen to make a country real and successful. We are too busy fighting these internal wars and making backward laws that are not giving anyone the rights to actually live their life easier and therefore be more productive. And people who have less stress are more productive. People who have less battles and wars to face are definitely more productive. It just shows. A healthier country and a healthier polity makes for better GDP. Longer lived people make for better country. If you read all the stats, it always shows that healthier people, mentally and physically, make for a healthier state. And if we are busy fighting people and really pushing ill health and bad quality and bad policy, we're not going to move forward. And this anti-homosexuality, man. There's a paper from the Harvard International Review, volume 38, number 3, summer 2017. Origins and consequences of Uganda's brutal homophobia. Read that. It's I can't remember who wrote it, but yeah, volume number 38, number 3, summer 2017. Origins and consequences of Uganda's brutal homophobia. It's a journal article. You can find it at jstore.org. Anyway, now that I've plugged JSTOR, let me read you them poems. It says, either she was a word, unspoken in the mouth, or she was a tongue, too far from a mouth to be useful. He was insane because he could hear her no matter what she became. Poem number 2. I dream of jumping every day, yet I can't remember my dreams. Now I can fall any time, but jumping, that's on me. Here I am. Fear is the parachute. Poem number 3. How about I am the trial and you the error? Just 2 lines, hey? Just 2 lines. Poem number 4 is the prose poem. Can we text rap? Okay, the text is rapped. A wide green field where I bury my longing for them to never find. From where I'm standing, I can see yesterday. For my birthday, I want a graveyard so that a poem will never again be about me. An ocean to prevent the lawn, water to bury the soil. Tomorrow has my shadow in it, but I cannot be seen. Not by those who look up. Someone said, hope is an expletive that begs you wash your mouth. Again, a rock. This hard place now is fleeting on nervous wings. They say a demon broke the hands of the present and it cannot even hold on to itself, slipping from here to there, sliding from now to was. Nuclear erasure, poisoned irradiated water, drowned presence. There, a school for teaching hope to swim. In an ear that belongs to no one, a prayer for deliverance. Sung again, one day, in a wide green field. Poem number 5. The constant and consistent war. Please, anything but conflict this time. You see, we are begging because we are not powerful. The powerful do not beg questions or pardons. So slowly do I pull the word from inside. I fall asleep and wake up several times before I speak it all. And I don't even know what those poems are going to be called. The entire thing. I don't know what the entire collection is going to be called, but it's poetry. It exists here, and I am going to put it into a book one day. What does this say? This is I'm not very good at Latin, so I'm not even going to pronounce it. Citra et trans. Citre is quitre et trans. Citre and trans. Okay, maybe. All that we have been saying is as much a natural sport of the silence of these nether regions as the fantasy of some rhetorician of the other world who has used us as puppets. Ooh, wow. That's interesting start. Makes you want to see what it's all about. Yeah. Hey, I found a copy of Eyeless, aka You Can't See Cape Town Without Helen Zeller's Eyes. Found a copy of that. I will read you those poems next time we are here on Three Rocks. I was just so bothered about this Ugandan thing. It has my focus, and I tried to transcribe, but only did these 5 poems that I have shared with you. But we're gonna get somewhere, and this book will be available very soon. There is a Patreon that has been put up, and it will be populated within this month of Khaya Maseko writes, so you can support this work and anything else that we put our hands on. But mostly the writing is where we want to put our dough, you know? So We gotta work hard and make our work apparent, make it real, make it visible. So do share the show, and if you enjoy it, tell your friend them. Tell them the original remind is here. Tell your friend them. I am Khaya Maseko. This is Three Rocks, live from captured Azania, and I do this.